race for Charleston County Council's District 3 seat is now in a runoff between Jesse Williams and Rob Wehrman. I sit down one-on-one with Jesse for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Jesse Williams, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Hey, thank you, Quintin. I'm glad we can figure out some of these technical difficulties.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, it's technology.
Yeah, you're the man.
Oh, thank you greatly. Appreciate it. I know that you are the man right now because obviously you are in a runoff for Charleston County Council's District 3 seat against Rob Wehrman for the Democratic primary.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate this time that you allow me to get on and share some of my experiences and just keep moving forward. You know what I mean?
How do you keep moving forward a week later?
So obviously, it was so much work to get to that through that primary day. And what happened was that we were able to organize many people to be able to help out to get the vote out, to get the information out. And like I said before, man, I probably haven't never said my name this many times in my life. but I just knew that we had to get the name out because it's a lot of it is about recognition. So when people go to the polls, there was 4 names on that ballot, and I just I knew a lot of people already, but I just had to reach out to the people that I didn't quite know up to that point. So now we're heading to the June 23rd runoff for the Democratic primary, and whoever gets 50% plus 1 vote will be able to then go to November and face the and go into the general election. So that's my goal right now.
Who is Jesse Williams?
I'm a blessed person, Quintin, and you know this. I've been on your show several times before, and I always try to say, like, I feel so blessed to be able to have the outpouring of support that I have up to this point. And it's no small feat to be able to get to a point where you make it to a runoff where I was able to get through a field of four total candidates. And I feel blessed because then the other 2 candidates that kind of dropped out, Gordon Garrett and Eric Nakiri, essentially endorsed me. They did endorse me. They made videos because they said they believe in me and they believe that I'm the man for the job to be able to stand up for the people for County Council District 3.
You talk about the people. What exactly are you hearing when it comes to the issues of District 3?
So as I said before, County Council District 3 stretches from all the way from Rivers Avenue at the Deer Park area, right, and it goes all the way down Rivers Avenue through Park Circle, and it goes all the way downtown and up into Mount Pleasant. And so the issues are very diverse, but I know roads is an issue. The need for the transit, affordable housing is an issue. The need for the libraries to finish being built because all the libraries have been dealt with, but except they're still working on the Pine Haven library near that shopping center, and that's a problem. I'd like to see people get onto the internet. If we had a library with a robust number of computers, there's a big need for jobs on that side of town. I'd like to be there and to be able to help the people and get a library there for them. So,
how many jobs do you want to bring to the area near the library?
Well, I know one thing. Charleston County themselves have a lot of jobs that people can connect with. Not even beyond jobs, they can also reach out to minority business enterprises and small business enterprises and work on connecting people to contracts. And then when these companies connect to contracts and get contracts from the county, they can then hire people within their community. So I would say, so just as a rough estimate, for every minority company that gains a contract, depending on the size of the company, they're going to hire like 3 people, depending on what the job is, and contracts vary in size. So, like for example, the libraries were basically funded by or basically being built by a company called MBCon. MBCon is one of the companies that are building these libraries, and they've been tasked to reach out to minority business enterprises and connect them and get them jobs and those kind of things. But people don't know that, I want people to understand and know how they can benefit from the county, and that's why I'd like to be a representative for the people on county council.
And you told Colleen Condon earlier this year you said you want small businesses to thrive because they are the engine of the economy. Where's the fuel?
Well, the fuel for the small businesses are essentially one, they need to be able to have continue to have what they essentially cash flow, right? They need to be able to make sales. They need to be able to gain contracts. That fuels a company. And also, I want to see residents and people be able to benefit alongside of small businesses, because when people are the power that allows that starts a small business, and the individuals like a sole proprietorship is going to be the one that goes and applies for that loan. So I want to see those individuals thrive to be able to get to the point to be an effective small business. So the fuel is going to be the people that's involved in the county and in District 3, as well as them being able to then have the wherewithal to gain the capital and the sales to then be able to grow.
How can you help minority businesses in District 3 thrive?
Well, me and a friend of mine, my partner, we're dealing with that for a couple of years now. And, they have to be able to essentially gain the know-how and the skills. And they have the skills. They probably have the know-how, but a lot of times it boils down to having those processes in place, like for example, being able to invoice a customer in a timely manner, and they send that invoice out, and then they get paid in a timely manner. So that's the fuel. So when they get paid, they then put dollars into their bank accounts, and then they can accomplish the job. Or if they're able to gain loans and those kind of things, they'll be able to last until they get paid. Let's say they're not going to get paid for 30 days. A lot of times the contract says that, you're going to start the contract and then your first payout is going to be 30 days in, right? So beyond invoicing, they have to be able to last for that amount of time and probably get the job done during that time. And that's just basically how they've set this situation up. So they have to be able to then get capital and get a loan. And so I just want to advocate for minority businesses as well to be able to attain those things. And I want to go beyond and figure out if, in fact, are there racist issues in play? Are there issues that are biased that's slowing down their growth? Because if there is, then I want to connect with lawyers and caring citizens, especially during this time of unrest where people have been killed in different states and areas. I want to see that. I want to see this stuff dealt with, and I think it's kind of connected. You know what I'm saying?
You talk about civil unrest. How do you look at public safety from a Charleston County standpoint now?
Well, I've been able to witness a lot of these issues, and within when you're looking at the criminal justice system, and when you're looking at actually the justice system as a whole, or when you're looking at things like mass incarceration, people being locked up, or when you're looking at things like the pre-contact stops where somebody gets stopped for a lesser issue, and then after they get stopped, then they get charged with something different, right? It's like they got stopped for, let's say, a broken taillight, and then after the broken taillight was found, then they get another charge, like something different. That's not good. Or a lot of times they'll get a stop for like a broken taillight, and then they won't get charged with anything because, in other words, nothing else has been found. So we have to look at those things within different cities and counties. As it applies to county council, I know that county council is in charge of the budget for the sheriff's department, right. For the Charleston County Sheriff's Department. So there's a lot of opportunity there where we can then look at solutions and move forward. So I just want to emphasize that on the runoff is on June 23rd, and I'm going to be reaching out to a lot of people in the area, and also your mail-in ballots may be coming in. So that's kind of some next steps, because we have to get people elected that's going to be willing to stand in the gap and be willing to speak up for the issues that are impacting residents and citizens. And we all want to have a community that works well together. And I know we all want to have a Charleston County and a District 3 where we care and love for each other, because I remember like Charleston Strong, Right. I truly want to see that,
And you talk about those issues. What are the public safety issues that are affecting District 3 right now?
Well, as far as public safety, you do have areas that does have crime, and they may need more presence. You have areas, things like public safety. In my mind, public safety is not just the crime part, but I think it's also things like flooding. I think public safety is also things like trees that may fall down on houses, and the county may be in charge of that land. Like I noticed a resident was telling me about how behind their yard there was a drainage system, and that drainage system had big trees that hasn't been maintained and cut, and they're afraid that that tree may fall on their house at the next big storm. You know what I'm saying? And this resident showed me a tree that had fallen down recently, but in fact behind their house was a county drainage system with trees that they were worried about. So that's, in my mind, that's more public safety as well, and also being prepared for things like this epidemic with COVID-19. So I'd like to see a task force be put together consisting of county employees, where we partner with residents in the community. That's public safety as well. When residents are susceptible to dangers, like whether it's an epidemic or whether it's a big hurricane, or even brutality, when they go around, they may be stopped without reason. And yes, crime. We need to look at that as well. Where is it taking place, and what kind of crimes are taking place?
And obviously, you talked about drainage. What recommendations would you have for drainage improvements in District 3?
I got a plane that's got to come by.
Okay. Yeah, when it comes to drainage, what type of recommendations do you have for drainage improvements in District 3?
So drainage improvements in District 3, we have to look at what streets and what waterways are operated and run by which municipalities. So some streets are city streets, and some streets are state run, and some are county run, in fact. And so as far as the county is concerned, I think we need to look at those reservoirs and drainage systems that are controlled by the county, and look at that and deal with it. I don't think it's too much to ask that the residents are asking, that with their tax dollars that they can rely on the county to actually treat everybody fairly and ensure that drainage is not negatively impacting certain areas, but others have it kind of not so bad. So we need to look at the southern end. We need to look at the most northern part of North Charleston, and just all over, just kind of taking an inventory as well. But the crux of the matter is that I think it's important that all residents in Charleston County Council District 3 understands and sees that they could possibly have a representative that's passionate about helping to meet their needs and helping to identify, to see what those issues are with drainage. Because when you have drainage concerns, I was speaking to another resident recently, and she was telling me how in her back, this is another house,
right,
and how in her backyard, when it rains really heavily, the water backs up in her yard, and she's not sure if it's a reservoir for this draining water or whether it's concerning the sewage system, which is pretty bad. So that's the kind of issues that we need to be looking at.
And I know obviously it's in a very incorporated part of Charleston County, but let's talk about the Suet issue in Mount Pleasant. Many residents have been complaining about that for years. What's that one recommendation you give the Charleston County Council to fix this problem? Now,
are you referring to the neighborhood in Mount Pleasant?
Yes, ma'am. Snowden. Yes, sir. Snowden.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Snowden, with Snowden, from what I noticed was that there may have been an agreement between the Snowden community and between Mount Pleasant, where Mount Pleasant was going to provide a connection to their sewage system in that neighborhood. I would recommend that they move forward with that, and especially in light of the injustices that we see in our locality and in our country, where we see disparate injustices, where certain residents of minority communities are not able to access resources. So I think there's a way that we can deal with that, and so even if it's not within the county, that neighborhood is unincorporated, I believe. Right. That neighborhood is currently in the county jurisdiction, so I would talk to those residents in Snowden. I would want to talk to the young lady that ran for State House that lives in the Snowden neighborhood.
Yeah, Donna Brown Newton.
I would like to talk to Donna Brown Newton and work towards a solution, because especially since in fact that neighborhood is still unincorporated, meaning that it is in county jurisdiction. I would like to see dollars go there. I would like to see dollars come from other areas, and we figure out how to bring a solution to that problem.
And let me stay in that area, because obviously another topic for District 3 is about widening Long Point Road. Jess, let me ask you this: has Long Point Road reached its capacity in your opinion?
Well, from what I see, Long Point Road seems to back up as far as traffic is concerned. But as far as the capacity, what I would like to do is talk to the residents and see what their thoughts and are concerning that. I actually spoke to a resident that lives right nearby that bridge that goes towards Boone Hall Plantation. And I asked her I said, what are your thoughts concerning this this bridge, and does it flood or does it back up like when the water goes high tide? And I said, what's your thoughts over there? And she was like, well, I haven't really thought too much about that particular issue, but she had more concerns about the Port Authority, because there was an incident that she witnessed concerning the trucks that comes out of the Port Authority down in the Wando Port.
Right.
But like I said, I'd like to continue the conversation, because I don't think it's just a one-track solution. Where I don't think the automatic solution should always be just widened, because there is a problem. There is an issue called induced demand, where when you make more roads and widen more, what happens is automatically that road gets full as fast as you widen that road. So I want to see solutions where you incorporate things like public transit, connect into the main BRT line. Where's the traffic coming from? Is the traffic going to the beach? Is there a better route? Can we get a bus to the beach, in a really awesome manner where it takes place on a regular basis, where we actually trust those buses to the beaches and it goes fast,
And where should the conversation go in regards to port expansion?
The port expansion is taking place on the North Charleston end. Actually, that part of the port expansion is within Charleston County Council District 3.
Right.
And so I want to see the expansion happen. And I like to see them continue to abide by the mitigation plan that they had in place, because I was actually on the LAMC board, planning with the board members and with the various different working groups. And I was part of the process of putting together the mitigation plan concerning the Port Authority. I'd like to see us look and see how that traffic is going to be looking on the port access road that's going to go to I-26. What's the traffic going to look like whenever those traffic starts going to that interstate? So we need to continue to track what happens, and I'd like to continue to see the residents. I don't want to see the residents be too negatively impacted by the pollution out of the port and those kind of things. I think environmental concerns is a big issue. I didn't think about environmental concerns before I was involved with LAMC, but now I know more about it.
Know more about it. And let me go back to the South End, because you talk about taking inventory when it comes to drainage. When you look at the South End and their inventory, what are you looking at?
On the South End, when you're looking at drainage, I didn't notice that some of those neighborhoods are in fact backed up when you're looking at drainage. In other words, if you walked around let's say the Union Heights neighborhood,
right,
on that side, which kind of where it hugs, where it kind of is close to the port area, you'll notice that some of those drainage ditches are still like open, or it might be like open and then all of a sudden there's no flow, So what sense does that make when you have a part that kind of is supposed to be a drainage ditch, and then it stops, and then it picks up like 2 yards down kind of thing? I've thought about drainage a lot, man, because I saw in the 1,000-year flood when we had all those problems. You had FEMA come down and offer all these help, and I saw like low-income residents, some of my neighbors at the time, having to wade their way through like 3 foot of water, and so I want to see like the southern end be able to thrive and have better drainage systems where it can happen now to help the residents that are there, and we don't have to wait till developers come in and build a new neighborhood in however much time that's going to take, And
you also told Colleen that you want to connect people with the resources. How would you help the city of North Charleston connect people on the south end of North Charleston with a grocery store?
Well, concerning the grocery store, I believe that a grocery store in fact, is possible. I'd like to see, because we have the problem what they're calling a food desert. And once again, I'm not buying the narrative that a store isn't able to be put over there for whatever reason or the other. I think the county has been dragging their feet on things like the library that's supposed to be built at Pinehaven. That should be done. We've seen debacle after debacle concerning the old Navy hospital that's supposed to be done. So I want to see solutions take place, and I think a lot of us are tired of hearing the excuses concerning the southern end and that area where the county is concerned. we should have green space. We should have a grocery store. They should be able to access fresh fruits and vegetables. And that's going back to offering solutions that the county can bring, and not just simply always looking at how can we spend money on roads more, or what roads do we need to put this budget money into? Like when they put $100 million to the roads on the northern part of North Charleston. I like to see some money put towards the people. And that's why I believe that I'm the people's candidate at this point in time to attempt to represent Charleston County Council District 3. I believe a grocery store can be put down on the southern end. I think there are solutions. And my background is business administration. I've got my MBA from Charleston Southern, but also I've done a lot of work in the community. I've worked with the residents in those areas. I've worked with groups in those areas that's working towards a grocery store. I saw what Fresh Future Farms are doing. Ms. Jenkins,
Yes.
Working on Fresh Future Farms. I mean, that's fresh fruits and vegetables, So even if we just took a model that she's working on and have the county put in some resources and partner with the city of North Charleston and come together, I want to see solutions,
And what solutions and resources would you put towards the Georgia Floyd matter?
Georgia Floyd matter, I'm tired of seeing things. We shouldn't drag our feet on affordable housing. In other words, I mentioned before that I'd like to see a affordable housing trust fund established in North Charleston. And CAJM, Charleston Area Justice Ministry, has pushed towards the county establishing a housing trust fund. We saw that the city of Charleston put together a trust fund. I think the county should be involved with affordable housing, because ultimately the county should be looking at how can all residents within Charleston County thrive. And so we should be offering affordable housing for the residents like at Joseph Floyd Manor. We shouldn't be in this bad of a situation, especially since the county is directly involved with budgeting for that facility. I care about those residents. I care about those seniors that are living there, those marginalized people. I actually know some people that live there. A good friend of mine, a couple people, I'm not going to say the names, but a couple of friends of mine live there,
And obviously, when you talk about the budget, how much money would you take out of the budget for the housing trust?
Well, we need to look at what CAJM is recommending. I'd like to sit down with the CAJM representatives. I'd like to see because they've done a lot of research. So I don't want to take from that research. And they're bringing solutions from the community. That's the kind of county council representative that I like to be. I like to be the kind of representative that lets the citizens and the groups and various people know that I want to hear their solutions, because we got to do these things together. So to the respect to how much, especially with this COVID-19, that's involved, we should start. We should start with funding Joseph Floyd Manor. We should put money towards improving Joseph Floyd Manor. Keep that place there. Hundreds and hundreds of people are relying on affordable houses at that location, and that's like one of the only affordable housing projects that the county is over. So let's start there. Put money. I would vote to put money towards that budget. Start there. Let that be the first of many affordable housing projects that the county works towards. We need it. We sure need it. With gentrification in the area.
How do you slow down gentrification in District 3?
We need to look at how the residents are being impacted within District 3. Whether you're looking at even Mount Pleasant, when you're looking at Mount Pleasant, there's rapid growth going on. Like in Mount Pleasant, there's rapid growth going on in North Charleston. There's rapid growth going on even in the city of Charleston. So I like to see what the housing rents are looking at and what's affordable for residents. So the way to slow down the way to slow down this process is to look at what can the residents afford, and these residents that are having to move to areas that's so far out, even beyond like Goose Creek or Somerville, obviously they're not making enough money to keep up with the growth of the housing prices, and we have a lot of speculative developers coming into the mix. They're coming with their interests and the banking interests, and then they want to do what they want to do. But the way to slow down the gentrification and the rapid growth is to figure out what's going to make sense for residents in order for them to stay where they're at. And in fact, even build another facility like Joseph Floyd Manor that's like really nice apartments, or also the county can actually reach out to developers that are trying to build and give them incentive to offer affordable houses. In my mind, I'm thinking like $600 a month or $700 a month is affordable, for a lot of people. right? If they're making like 12, 13, $14 an hour, you know, after taxes, think about what they're taking home. You know, they got to be able to afford to live in the area in Charleston County. A lot of jobs are in Charleston County.
That's exactly right. And obviously, what incentives do you hope the developers will bring to the district-free area?
Well, they come with their dollars, and when they've identified a location that they want to per se develop, what they do is they reach out to a city, like whether it's like Mount Pleasant, the city of Charleston, or let's say North Charleston. They reach out to these or Charleston County for that matter, and they're gonna want to get let's say infrastructure built up. So what the county can do is communicate with those developers and let them know and say, you know, we'll work with you if you will allot X amount of units within your development for affordable housing. So what they'll do is they can then establish a what is affordable housing. They can establish kind of a benchmark for that, whether it's going to be houses that are being rented out like apartments, or whether it's going to be houses that are going to be sold like condos or single family units. They can arrive at something that makes sense that's going to allow residents to not be kind of priced out of their localities, you know.
And you talk about residents. Let me go back to the widening of Long Point Road. What concerns do you have about eminent domain?
So when they're looking, if they're looking to widen Long Point Road, obviously it sounds to me like that's Long Point Road. From what I learned, is a state road. In other words, we're able to now identify what roads are actually state roads, and then we can understand that if they're looking to widen that road, it's going to be a South Carolina Department of Transportation project. So they always have this process where they go and they try to compensate. They try to compensate residents at some rate for their loss of houses. If in fact there is houses in that path, you know, and so they're going to try to compensate residents. And so in that process of doing that, they're going to be in communication with those residents and ask them what their thoughts are and take their comments and those kind of things. They're likely, a lot of times they do like a public meeting. So as far as eminent domain is concerned, they're going to have a process where before they arrive upon that time where they're going to actually let's say tear down a house and widen the road, right? There's a process to get there, and during that process, a lot of times the residents are then connected. But I haven't seen a lot of that in North Charleston because it's like in past history they've been kind of caught up by surprise, you know.
And how are the people how are the officials, that is, communicating with the folks in North Charleston about widening 526?
I think they can. I think the DOT can do a better job, to be honest, because I was involved with some of the meetings earlier on. And as a county council representative, I want to be a representative for all the people. And so what I would do is reach out to the DOT and see where they're at in the process and actually get the people the information that they need so that they know what stage in the process that the DOT is right now and how they're going to be impacted by what the DOT is attempting to do. I want to get those designs to the people. I want the people to see what designs the DOT is going to be considering with widening 526. The neighborhoods that's going to be impacted, like Charleston Farms and possibly like Park Circle, they should know what is coming in the pipeline so that they can then prepare and they can make their voices heard.
Jesse Williams, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you so much, Quintin, and I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.